What's up? What's up? What's up, people? Friday night. Thank you for taking the time out to join me on the air here this Friday and have some fun. I'm excited, super duper excited to have our guest on tonight. I've known him for a while, many years actually, from the convention circuit and Comic-Con circuit, and overall great guy. He's a New Yorker, so we get along on the sports front. He's also a Renaissance man in every sense of the word, a wrestler, a musician. He's a comic book writer. He's also an actor. He's also a huge foodie and a food critic. And also he produces his own hot sauce. Hot sauce. We'll be talking about that as well a little bit later on. But we're getting close, folks. We're getting close to this election. I'm not going to get any deep in the political end of things, but I'm glad to see people are voting. I don't care who you're voting for. That's your business. That's your right. But I'm glad to see that so many millions of people have already voted ahead, and more people to come. I'm excited to see how this changes, if anything, and the process moving on. So I hope you're all safe out there. I hope you're all well. I hope this week since I last talked to you was kind to you and you were kind to it. I want to thank all the people joining us on Twitch. Good to see you, Uriel. Good to see you, Captain Mike Sparrow, Danger Girl AC, Eskimo 850420, Jason Mack, Ace Rokola, Gem Girl, Trey Mock, of course, Slade Craven. Good to see you guys. For my folks on the YouTube, thank you as well for joining the party, and also from the original group on the OHalloRANT Facebook page. As you can see, you could follow on the Twitter and Instagram up top as well. Please follow along, get you all the updates as to what we are doing. I've been pretty much in this position for the past 4 hours because I was on earlier on a show with Zenoscope. Zenoscope, a comic book publisher, decided to start a once a month movie night where we decide a movie ahead of time, watch it ahead of time, and then get a group of people to discuss it. And this month, appropriately, we did the horror cult classic Creep Show. Yes, that Creep Show. Yes, written by Stephen King. Yes, directed by George Romero. And yes, Ted Danson's in it. That's right, Ted Danson. So we had that earlier today. So check out Zenoscope on Twitch and also on their Facebook page, and you can catch the replay of that. It was a hilarious discussion. Marilyn Gigliotti also was part of the panel as well. So that was a fun ride. So if you get a chance, please give those guys some love and check it out. It's a fun discussion, especially if you've seen Creepshow. If you haven't seen Creepshow, you got to see it. It's 1982, so it's what it is. It's 1982, but it's, Stephen King not only writing it, acting. And this was before he got hit by a van on that road up in Maine. So he might have had a future. But then he got hit by a van on the road up in Maine, and then he wrote an Oscar-winning movie called Misery. So there you go. It's weird. Wasn't on the path of acting, but wrote a film that someone else won an Oscar for. So that's how things go sometimes. Sometimes you're not meant to be the star athlete, but you may be the coach that coaches the star athlete. So you never know. We got a good night for tonight. I hope everybody's holding up well. Hope the weather is okay in your area. I got to tell you, we're up where I live. I'm surrounded by trees. I'm pretty much up on a mountain in a forest. And I did some clearing of leaves off my lawn and driveway area, which is gravel. So they stick like stronger than NASA's version of Velcro. And I got to tell you, I got it done. I was all proud of myself. And literally a half an hour later that night, it was like I had done nothing. Like the trees are just never ending with these leaves. I know it's fall. I get it. That's what it's all about. But sometimes I wish it'd be kind of cool, actually. Like if it was a moment where leaves just fell all at once. I'm like, okay, get ready, honey. Hey, ready? Here we goes. Boom. And they just all fell. That would be incredibly helpful for those of us to have to go out and collect them. That would be helpful. But for those who just love to watch the foliage, it's gorgeous. And it's a little too much, personally. All right. Enough of this stuff. We got to get to some fun discussions because this man has so many talents, so many careers of so many different things. Each show could be just one part of this man's multifaceted life. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring to the air the man, the myth. If you've had the actual pleasure of meeting him personally, you know why he's a legend. I've actually sang a duet with this man up in Vermont. I know what you're thinking. Vermont? That's slippery shit. No, it wasn't that kind of a trip, but you'll see what I'm saying. Mr. Brimstone!
Finally, Brimstone has made it to the O'HalloRANT with my brother Brian, and I'm supposed to be here today. I had to make the joke. It had to be there.
There you go, sir.
Saw it in the comments. If I didn't go there, I would be, shanked, I'm sure. So
of course not. It's never a crime. If you want to go there, by all means, we get it. I get it all the time.
Fan service. You got to do the lip
I'm not
service,
even supposed to be here today.
But you are, and I'm excited that you're here, and it's and I'm excited to be here. What do you call it? At the end of the day, we've gone way too long without seeing each other, and
yes.
It's just so good to see your face. And we've spoken a bunch of times over the phone and via text and so forth, just to be like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? But to see
Absolutely.
your face just makes it's so much better. And
yes,
what people don't understand, or maybe they might not understand. I'm assuming they don't understand, but we don't normally get to see our friends unless we're out on the road touring, because that's our life. So if we're not on set, if we're not on tour, and we're not doing things, we're not getting to see people like we normally would. So this is an honor and a privilege, and thank you so much for having me. And
no.
Captain Mike Sparrow. Sorry about that.
Yes, and then Jem saying, Gem Girl, 1975. Yes, he is supposed to be here. Yeah, that's the thing that I missed, the camaraderie. Like, you get asked that question a lot in these cities when we visit them by the people from the locals. Like, well, what do you get out of this, of coming to my city? Or not only do I get to come to your city and find really great restaurant finds, like, whenever I arrive into a town and I'm either being picked up at the airport by either a local driver or someone from the con that's local. I go, all right, give me the shit. What's the jam here? What am I eating at some point this weekend? You know, it's like your usual kind of thing. Like, oh, if you're in Buffalo, you're going to have wings. If you're going to go, you know, in Philadelphia, it's cheesesteaks. If you're going to go New York, it's pizza, things like that. So that type of thing is what I enjoy, but I love the other guests as well. I enjoy seeing certain people who have certain things. Like you're really good friends with Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, he did the forward to your book, which we'll be discussing a little bit later on.
Yeah.
He is a huge foodie, huge foodie of the highest caliber. And we were together on a tour of Australia, and we were in Adelaide, and he would just go out on the city on his own during the daytime before, like, you know, the days leading up to the convention, just to find specific places to try unique and cool things. And I've had quite a few dinners with him, and they've always been a memorable, top-notch experience. So, and that's what I enjoy.
Guy. And he's such a good. He is like the best host ever without even being a host. You know what I mean? He just has. You have some. I got to tell you, we will go on marathons. We'll be texting for a couple minutes, and then it'll go on, and then we're like, let's just get on the phone, because otherwise, you know, we're getting like 1,003, text messages back and forth. Let's just get on the phone, and we'll go on for like 2-3 hours and just catch up and talk about everything. I mean, we've literally solved all the world's problems on some of these conversations. And you know, what's really great is and I could picture him out to eat a meal with you. And oh, so where can we get, what can we get now? Can we get some, where's the pork? I need some pork. And well, now he's vegan. He's vegetarian now. What do you call it?
Really?
So right
that must be painful.
Yeah, no, I know how he loves his meats.
That's what I mean.
So what do you call it? Like the first time we went out and broke bread, just the two of us, we were signing at, I think it was Awesome Con in DC. And it was Awesome Con in DC. And we were out at this place. And he goes, okay, Brim, this is the best place ever. I've heard nothing but good things, and it's all pork. It's a pig. There's a pig on it, and there's got to be a ton of pork. And he was so excited, and just seeing his face and hearing him, I'm like, I'm in. Let's do it. We went. We sat down, and it was probably the worst food that we've ever had. And the two of us to this day have discussed of how excited we were to have the food. And then there was like nothing good. And I was so upset. And he was so upset. There was like no pork on the menu. How can you have a pig up on your sign, but not have any pork? It's in the name. Pig's in the name. How do you not have it in the restaurant on the menu? Anyway.
We were at a con in Raleigh. I think it was Raleigh Galaxy Con. And we went to this Italian pizza place, Italian restaurant. We get there and we're waiting. The waitress ain't coming over. The pizza place ran out of cheese.
No! How is that even a possibility? I don't get it.
And it was like such and such pizza, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, pizza, it's in your name.
I know, right? It's like,
how do you fuck that up?
Make it work, bro. Go to the supermarket and go buy some extra. Do what you got to do. That's insane. How?
It's just so funny. So just folks, if you want to know, we're talking to the one, the only Brimstone. I've known this man. We've hung out with Scott Schiaffo at cons.
He's in the messages right here. He's in the messages.
That's right. Yeah, he comes on. I'm going to have him actually. He's my guest next week. Actually, This was us up in Vermont. It's yourself, Nicholas Brendan, Rashawn. Oh, no, it's not Rashawn. Rochelle, Scott, and myself. This was about 4 or 5 years ago, I want to think.
I think so. Maybe even longer, man. You know, we've known each other for about like 11 years.
Here's the infamous Piano Man duet.
Yes. That was the best. I loved that so much. We had such a good time, and you have such a pleasant voice. It was so wonderful to do that.
That's years of musical theater and being in pubs when I was way too young with my Irish family, and people going, "Give us a song." No, come on, give us a song, young man. Give us a song. I bet you have a voice like an angel, I'm sure. Give us some Danny boy, anything. And I'd be like, well, what do I get out of it? I'll give you $1 for the pinball. All right, $1, I'm in. Oh, Danny boy, So
it's incentive that works.
last time physically we were together was San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
We were out there with Marilyn Gigliotti, Kevin Smith. We were out promoting the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot, plus also Jay's movie Madness in the Method. And so that was the first time we were in actual physical proximity to have drinks and have fun and whatnot. Yeah. That was a good year too. It was a fun time for everyone. Kevin was incredibly generous, and the people at IMDb were really generous with us, allowing us to be on the boat and having drinks and whatnot.
Awesome.
So what got you into wrestling?
Oh man, you want the whole story? You want me to give you the?
Because I mean,
I'm gonna give you the notes. The notes.
I'm trying to find. There was a photo that you had, where it was you as a child, and I didn't know if you were doing, and it was you today, I guess, side by side, and I didn't know if you were doing the where it started, where it is now thing that's been going on the internet.
I think that was a while ago, and I think it was like Some Things Never Change or something like that. That was a few years ago. But what do you call it? The reason that I got into wrestling was kind of by accident. Even though I always loved pro wrestling, it was literally. I was coming off of music, and I was in a touring band, and I was a drummer for many years. And I thought, I'm going to just stay with drumming, and I'm going to be a musician my entire life. And I went to school for it. And then I got sick of being in a 5-way marriage, and I was like, I need to take a break from this. And I was at the time working for the Village Voice's sister company, which was the Long Island Voice. And the Long Island Voice was run by Andrea Stern, because it was Stern Publishing at the time. And Andrea was the daughter, so it was her pet project of Mr. Stern. So it was, since I was a musician and I knew all the bar and club owners and so forth, and all the musicians, pretty much everybody, they had me working on the bars and clubs and all that jazz. So I was very tied into the scene and just really kind of enjoyed being a part of the scene. There was a week that all the photographers must have been booked. There were things going on, and they know, like you had mentioned earlier, I try to be a jack of all trades. I enjoy a lot of things. And they're like, we know you have been published before with your photography. Would you mind taking a couple of pictures this weekend? What do you call Bill Jensen, who was one of the writers? His father he's a sports writer. His father was one of the, a big baseball player in the Major League Baseball team, one of those teams. And they said, hey, would you mind going to this wrestling convention? Because we know you like wrestling. We know you like photography. Would you mind going and taking some pictures for us? Because we don't have anybody on staff to do it. So I was like, sure, why not? It sounds like fun. So I went there, got a chance to meet a lot of people that wound up being my friends later on in life. And I walked up and I was introduced to Shiki, Iron Sheik. So Shiki looks at me and goes, you look like you could be a wrestler. And I'm like, cool, that's awesome. Iron Sheik is telling me this, and I said, well, I'd love to get into wrestling. I said, when I was a kid, I used to be the guy that would be tossing all my friends around, and what do you call it? We would go to like the big WrestleMania parties, and like the Survivor Series, and you name it, and we did it, and I would be the one tossing people around and pretending I'm Ultimate Warrior and Undertaker and all that jazz. So I always loved it, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to get involved in wrestling. And I was just, going with the flow at the time. And Shiki goes to me, yes, I train you. And then all of a sudden his agent, and you may or may not know him, Eric Sims? They call him Snapshot Eric Sims is what he goes under. It's been around forever. He deals with a lot of the workers. And, Eric, overhears it and he goes right to business because, he's an agent and you know how it works. And he jumps over and he starts doing what we call a work, and he starts working me. And he's like, hey, what do you call it? Yeah, you can either fly Sheik here and put him up and blah, blah, blah. And it'll be this, or, you can go here and you can go to Atlanta. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I'm not ready for all that, and as that was going on, Bret the Hitman Hart was there signing as well, and he was leaving to catch a flight. So what do you call it? He had mentioned, he's waved me over, and I was like, all right, cool. I walked over, and because he knew I was media, and he starts talking to me, and he says, hey, look, if you're really interested, I heard what was going on there with those guys. If you're really interested in getting into the business, here's my email address. It was the old school AOL emails.
Hey, don't knock it.
Yeah. We know, but we're not going to go there. But it was AOL address, so that's how long ago this was. Anyway, but we
could have been worse. Could have been carry pigeon.
This is true. So he had said, just if you're interested, you need any questions answered, I'll try to put you into a the right direction. So I wound up saying, I'm going to get to that, Christopher. So I said, all right, I appreciate it. And, he left and I had the email address. And, I was going through one of the wrestling magazines one day and I saw an ad for a new school called the Long Island Wrestling Federation, the Doghouse. And I'm like, sounds interesting. Let me go check it out. So I'm looking through it and, I shot over an email to him. I said, hey, I saw this. It's a new school opening. What do you think? And he actually got back to me. And he told me what to look for. He said, this is what you should be looking out for. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, all right, cool. And I went there. First thing was Bobby Lombardi, the guy who owned the place. He's like, what do you call it? So you want to be a wrestler, huh? And I'm like, I guess, yeah, let's do it. What do you call it? So I trained at the Long Island Wrestling Federation, the Doghouse in Queens, New York. Then they moved to Brooklyn. I continued going there through Brooklyn. And what do you call it? You're talking about with guys like Low Key, Homicide. What do you call it? The original Gino Caruso. What do you call it? Who was Super Colo in WCW, and a whole bunch of other different players that were there. And it produced so many really crazy cool talents, that school, where these people have done tremendous things, whether it's in pro wrestling or acting or whatever. And somebody wrote NYWC. I am the person who built the NYWC, and what do you call it? So the NYWC, I'm not involved with them anymore. But what do you call it? I'm the guy who started NYWC because I opened up Critical Mass Pro Wrestling, CMPW.
When did you know that's what you wanted to do? And when was your first paid gig?
Probably a year after I started, and it became a thing. Now, again, I came from a long time, in the industry already, because I was a child actor. I had done Sesame Street and Romper Room. And then what do you call it? I was doing a lot of different, small things that my mother was taking me to gigs when I was younger.
You were Mr. Snuffleupagus, right?
No, I wish I was Mr. Snuffleupagus, but Snuffy, I did see up in the rafters. I thought he was dead. That's a whole nother story altogether.
Ooh, that's trauma.
I was traumatized.
That's deep trauma.
If you want, I'll tell you my Carol story later. What do you
call it? See, I should have had you on last week when I had Whitmore on.
Oh yeah, he's great. I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, so I knew, being from, the music industry, that, you have to build a brand, you have to, and I had a sales background. So I was like, you have to build a brand, you have to sell yourself, you have to be able to continuously be moving forward and growing. And, I as soon as I started training, you're not supposed to, but I was thinking gimmick. What can I come up with? And I didn't want to be, that guy who would go in there and get his ass kicked and that would be that. And I didn't want to be a jobber. I didn't want to have some, weird name that nobody would be able to kind of, get behind. And I was like, I came up with like 1,000 names, and we, because I'm Long Island, we were driving into Queens. You know what I'm saying? Like we had plenty of time to sit and think of things. And I was with the boys and we're going back and forth, and I had 1,000 names, and that 1,000 went down to 500. The 500 went down to 100, and 100 went down to 10. And every single time, Brimstone stayed in there. And at that 10, I was like, it just kept staring at me, and I was like, that's it. That's the name. I could be a tough guy, and it's a cool gimmick, and let's make it happen. So I knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So I was already ahead of the game, when I was getting into the...
You just needed to find a guy who wanted to be your tag team partner who would go with the name Fire.
No, I didn't
Fire
want to do
Brimstone. Come on.
Although I did have a valet that she was Ms. Hellfire for a little while.
There you go.
So that never hurts.
So who were some of your favorite wrestlers?
I've always loved, Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels, Nash. I know a bunch of these guys, personally also. And, Scott was great. Scott Hall, Mick Foley. I see Mick was great. Yeah. Yeah, man, absolutely. There's so many people that I looked up to. The late great Jimmy Snuka was a good friend of mine. Captain Lou Albano was another father to me. I worked with, Earthquake, who was one of the natural disasters. And, it was a good time, man. There was a lot of crap that goes on in the behind the scenes in pro wrestling, just like every other business. And the politics of it just, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the same thing, in music, where the music thing was like, all right, I'm in a 5-way marriage. Let me see what else I could do. And then wrestling kind of happened. In wrestling, it was just like, I didn't choose to leave. It was one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to be 60, 70 years old and still be bumping around in a ring. You know what I mean? I watched my friends do it, and I was like, this just can't be me. I can't do that.
Get in there, burn at both ends for a short period of time, make your name, and then step out when you can physically step out of the ring on your own accord. Lord Mooby asks, we want to see Brian get in the ring and get tossed around a bit. No, Lord Mooby. I'm more of the Weasley manager that stays off that throws in a secret punch when the guy is down, or distracts the ref while the wrestler puts some crazy finishing move on you. Speaking of which, Christopher was asking, Brimstone, what was your finishing move, and did you win championships?
Yeah. My finishing move was Zabulba, the entrance to hell. And up until maybe a couple months ago, everything was like entrancetohell.com and all that jazz. And I just actually switched over all my branding to the real brimstone.com. But entrance to hell. And the reason why I got that Zabulba is if anybody actually watched the old Dee Snider movie, and Dee Snider did Strangeland, and if you watch the movie inside the club was named Zabulba. And what's Zabulba? The entrance to hell. There you go. So that was it. And and I built my whole gimmick around hell and this, that, and the next thing. Meanwhile, I'm a Jew, and we don't believe in hell. So it's I did it on purpose. It was meant that way, and I think it's really funny. And hey, look, I built a whole career off it. So
we talked earlier about how great a foodie Charles Martinet is and how you are. How did you? Obviously, every day we all have to eat. I get it. We're on the road. You're on the road with a band. You're trying to find places to eat. You're on the road Comic-Cons. You're looking for great places to eat. What got you into the mode of being a foodie and then expressing your opinions of being a food critic?
Well, listen, my growing up, my mother, she always cooked. We always, I have a very, very, special palate. I like good food. I like flavor, behavior, and it's just something I grew up with. And when, just like, when you travel, you get to see some of the coolest places, and you get to eat some of the best food ever. And I'm the kind of guy that likes to go and find, whether it's a 5-star restaurant or a mom and pop hot dog shop, and I want to go there. I want to try it. I specifically want to see what all the locals like. Us, the locals, they know where all the good spots are.
Of course.
When I decided, all right, well, when the comic book was coming about, I said, all right, I need to do rather than just see the inside of trains, planes, and automobiles, and the inside of arenas or whatever the hell we're doing in hotels. I said, I want to do something. So I don't know if you remember my director of operations for Hound Comics, Eitan. Eitan, I know you've met a couple of times. It might be a while since you've seen him. But Eitan says to me, well, what are you doing? What do you want to do? I said, I want to do something where I'm not stuck doing that. I want to go out. I like food. Let's eat. I like to eat. Let's eat. So he's like, well, what do you want to do with food? I was like, let's do a show. So we wound up doing a show called Food Hound Tidbits. We did 3 seasons online. And that was on YouTube before, all this other stuff was out there, and you had like 5 million other, food shows on there. And we were on that. We were on FoodTube. They brought us onto like a whole bunch of other different networks online, and it was really good. It went really, really well, and it gave me the opportunity to say, okay, after the con, I can't go do this and that and the next thing. I'm going to go. I have to go work, so I'm committed already. Because you have to go and do everything that you're committed to. So So it gave me the opportunity to stop and actually go out to eat and spend some time there and breathe and relax and I got to try some of the best places, man. I mean, because Eitan would go out there and just like you were mentioning earlier, just saying, hey, what's the best place to eat? And he would call ahead and would set everything up, and just what's the best place to go and get ribs or this or that. What's the special je ne sais quoi that this place has? And and we would go and we'd mark them out and contact them, and then we would go. I mean, we've done some amazing things. So in terms of food, I love it. Me, I'm a big guy, and I have to eat, man. So why not eat in style, right?
So, if you were an alcoholic, I would say this was your choice of drink. But as I peruse your Instagram, I just guess this is your condiment, which is soy sauce.
Soy sauce. I love soy sauce.
I see more bottles of soy sauce on your gram, sir.
Yes, Kikkoman is one of my biggest sponsors, and I love Kikkoman. I actually now I only endorse brands that I can get behind, and
I love Kikkoman.
I love Kikkoman so much, and they're just such a good company, and the people there are just amazing. And I've been dealing with them for a lot of years now, and it's just like it's an extended family. You know what I mean?
My girlfriend's a big Hello Kitty fan. And they literally came out with a limited edition Kikkoman soy sauce, dispenser with the soy sauce in it. We've yet to open it because it's still vacuum sealed, and we were running out a week ago or so. And I'm like, oh, I think we're out of the soy sauce. I think I'm gonna have to break into the Hello Kitty. And she was like, that's fine. I was really not wanting to. So I'm just about to break the plastic. And when she's like, here's the backup bottle of the soy, I'm like, oh, okay, relax.
Well,
we're gonna snap, Hello Kitty's head off to get to the soy.
Next time I see you, I'll get you. I think I have an extra bottle of the Hello Kitty stuff here at the studio. So I'll get it for you.
Everybody loves it. So then, what made your transition into producing then your own hot sauce? Because I remember we were up together in Vermont, and your table is literally like a general store in the middle of a country road in Colorado, where the next town isn't for another 200 miles, and you can get like jerky and all sorts of stuff. But what you did have predominantly of, which was hot sauce.
Yeah.
I love hot sauce. Now, here's my parameters of hot sauce, though. I'm not a hot sauce, let me see myself sweat, the flesh burning off my skin, where I can't even take a piss because I can't hold my penis because the hot sauce I touched was so damn hot.
Yeah.
I like it when there's a certain flavor profile to it and a certain zing and heat to it, that I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. I'm not, hot ones. Let's see how far I can go before I've completely destroyed my taste buds and my lower intestinal system.
I think you would be fun on hot ones. Actually, that would be very amusing to see. I think you should do it. That's the new one, Torchstone.
That's the new one.
The new one. So yeah, everything I do has to kind of intertwine with one another. I've kind of modeled my whole brand after that, where everything kind of models. Everything kind of intertwines into the next. And see my love for food and hot sauce right there.
But this time you actually got into the workings.
Yeah. I look ridiculous right there, but it was, hey,
I don't know. I mean, if that was going to be your option, sir, you should have went in there with a beekeeper's helmet. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. It's true.
Would have covered the whole business there.
What's really funny is that so I walked in and like my hair is down and I my the glasses up and I'm just kind of chilling over there and they're like, well, you got to kind of put your hair into a a hairnet and a beard net. And I'm like, beard net? What the hell is a beard net? I've never worn a hairnet, nonetheless a beard net. And so they're like, all right, well, here's the beard net, here's the hairnet, and they're like, just put it on. I'm like, okay. So here I am. I put on the thing and I have the thing here on my beard and everybody's kind of like looking at me and I'm sitting there doing my own thing. I'm like watching, what's going on. And I'm just like inspecting everything and just enjoying, being there. And everybody looks like they want to say something, but they didn't say anything to me. So I'm like, what, why is everybody like looking at me so weird? Like they want to say something. So Kim and Tom from the Grindhouse Radio, my co-hosts, they're like, Brim, your hair is still out. You have to put it up underneath the what do you call it? The hairnet. And I'm like, oh, I said, really? Do I have to do that? I don't really have to do that, right? And they're like, no, you have to do it. And then the guys were like, yeah, you really have to do it. I was like, all right, fine. So I took it, I spun it up, and I put it up, and there. Now I look like Sam Kinison. With
you do actually. Now that you said it, now I see it.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And what do you call it? It is what it is. But yeah, no, the sauce.
How many different varieties of hot sauce do you sell?
So I had 13 different sauces and seasonings, all award winning. They were taken off the market temporarily because the company I was dealing with, K. John's.
Don't tell me you got hair in it.
No, I never. I told you I was never in the. This is the first time I actually went in the kitchen and had the opportunity to sit and watch it being done. But the what do you call it? The company K. John's Fiery Foods, which is where I started the sauce and seasoning. He was selling his company, and he had to stop co-packing for people while he was making the move. So you know how busy I am. I just didn't have time to sit and find a new person to go co-packing because I'm not somebody who's just going to go, all right, here. You know what I mean? Take my sauce and make it. No, I have to make sure that it's going to be the quality that I demand.
You are definitely incredibly detail oriented in everything that you do. So I can easily see how you're like, oh no, well then we got to start scratch from zero again, and I got to see what else you make, and I want to see what's going on. So.
And that's exactly what was going on. And, the time went by like it always does. And what do you call it? The guys over at Torchbearer Sauces, who you might have even seen before at a convention. They started doing conventions, the comic conventions. And, I've always gotten along with them. I've watched them come up in the industry from when I was working with K. John's years ago. And their sauces were always amazing, best quality products. Essentially the labels were all just very cool, fun, interesting. They had a good brand, and I love their brand. It's just really fun. So I
do like this. This is a really cool looking label.
Yeah, that's done by the Doodle and Dork. I actually did the entire label. He did the artwork for it. And I put it all together, and he's just awesome. Doodle and Dork.
It's very Raiders, very Indiana Jones Temple of Doom looking.
I wanted it to be fun, and it had to have some of the Torchbearer style and then Brim style. So anyway, Torchbearers, long story longer. We kept talking about doing a collaboration. Let's collab. And we just never did it because timing was never there. Finally, at the beginning of the year, I was like, you know what? We're doing this. We're going to sit down. We're going to get together. We're going to make it happen. Same way I did it with K. John's. And I went over to Pennsylvania, which I called to see if it was anywhere near where you are. I went over there and I brought my son with me. He helped me design the sauce. we came up with this new one, the Torchstone tie, and now what we're doing is we're releasing this, and it's on what do you call it? It's going to be released on Halloween, and what do you call it? It should be up on the site sooner than that, but it will be released on Halloween, and it is unbelievable. What do you call it? After this is out and we get this moving, we should be able to be bringing back my other sauce and seasoning.
So what is the flavor profile of this that makes it Thai?
It's like a curry. It's like a Thai curry with papaya, pineapple. It's just a really delicious. You get a nice, delicious fruity flavor on the front, and then you get that slow, steady burn on the back end. And
what are you saying on the Scoville? What are we talking here?
The Scoville scale, I mean, you can bounce around with that. I would say, like, my hottest is 6 million on the Scoville scale. I'd say this is not too far behind it. I think it's, but again, it's all a matter of how much you have. And, again, it's a matter of opinion. Like, again, this one here has Carolina Reaper and Scorpion. You know what I mean? Those are the two main peppers in that. And, it's going to burn you. It will burn you, but it is very flavorful, especially if you have, especially if you have a tolerance for it. You'll get the flavor up front.
Right. I always do a little dibble dabble first. Yeah. And my first bite, I'm going, okay, it's all right. And then I'll try it again. And I'll go, okay, well, now I'm feeling it. Okay. If it's by the end, I'm like, oh my God, get me some milk. Then I'm like, all right, what was the point? Now I'm going to be puking what I tried to eat.
It's really, it's amazing on wings, by the way. Amazing on wings.
Any type of hot sauce is amazing on wings. It's funny. I was going to make wings tonight too, but I had the earlier show. I was like, I better not, because I like to make sure I do the wings right. So I'll do that tomorrow. But what got you then started in the podcasting world? Because now you're part of a huge network, the Grindhouse Radio Network, and so Kevin started podcasting a long time ago and built up his Smodco network, and tons of people in the podcasting world have blown up over the past 10, 12 years doing it. What got you started?
Being in the industry for so long, I've always been in the hot seat. You know what I mean? And, I've always been cool with it. I've enjoyed it, and absolutely love sitting and talking and conversing and engaging, and it's just so much fun. You know what I mean? So, after years of doing it, I said, I'd love to do a show myself. I figured it would be a lot of fun. So I contacted some of the local radio stations here on Long Island, people that have done, had me on 1,000,003 times. You know what I mean? Like, I've done interviews and so forth, and I've guested for them before. And unfortunately, they never got back to me. So I was like, what? All right, it's on, no problem. Because if you're gonna tell me no, I'm just gonna come back and do it 10 times harder. So I had the opportunity. I had Kim and Steve actually from the show used to be my interns, and I said, hey, would you guys want to sit down and maybe do a show together? And they're like, because they both had a background in radio. So I was like, you want to try this? And they go, yeah, let's do it. So we sat around one microphone in the old Hound Comics office, after hours. And the three of us just sat there. An hour went by like this, and we were like, it's magic. It worked. It really did. And, we took it and we moved with it. I had already had the Grindhouse Radio.com. I already said that's going to be the name. Grindhouse, also tied in with my seasonings. I have the Grindhouse seasoning. Like I said, everything kind of ties together, and more details in that. But moving forward, we went from the office to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, which was it's a big broadcasting school.
Howard Stern, graduate Howard Stern.
Yeah, and Steve and Tom from the show were both graduates from there as well. So we went there for a while, and they took very good care of us because two of their own were on the show, and we were like, all right, we got to move out of here into our own studio. And we were like, all right, rather than renting a place, why don't we buy a house and fix it up and kind of do what we need to do to make it work? So we bought a house here on the island, and and we realized oh no, it's going to be way too much to invest to bring this up to where we need it to be. So we sold the house, and we rented our office space in Levittown, New York. Just about 3 years ago. So we've been in our studio and corporate offices for about 3 years now, and we've been running for 5. We've won, and as a FU to the radio stations that didn't want to give me a call back, we actually have won Best Radio Station on Long Island from 2017 to 2020, and we're nominated again for 2021. So we've got that.
Congratulations, sir!
Thank you. I mean, we've done so many things. We've made it to number 6 on the top 20 on iTunes. We're in the top 20 on around the world. There's all this stuff and things that's just like the coolest things. I never thought we'd be there, but we have a great following, and the people are absolutely awesome. We're a pop culture talk radio series. You've been on it before a few times.
I have.
And we the coolest thing about it is, I've been around for so long, and I know so many people in the industry that everybody is I'm so blessed to have friends like you and other people that are like, yeah, man, I want to come on, let's do this, and then actually have me on your shows as well. And but if you go to the grindhouseradio.com, you go on the guest list, there's over 300 guests, and like it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Just looking at the
and it the spectrum of type of guests too. It's not just like, oh, it's all Comic-Con and sports kind of people. It's of every type of background, every type of business, every type of thing. It's really you've really grasped a great hold of what you're doing. I mean, it's great to be located out on the island too, because you're kind of centrally located to a lot of people who, if they're in the city, they can hop on a train to get out to you, or just now everybody's just telecommuting, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's to do in-person, type of shows, it's not that hard when you're there.
Some of the best people that we've had in studio, very good friends of mine. I mean, we had, and of yours too. I'm pretty sure DMC from Run DMC.
Oh yeah.
He is I love D so much, and he came in. He goes, Brim, I don't want to just call in. I want to come hang out and see you. And he came in, and D's son, his son came with him, and he was here for hours. We just had such a great time, on air, then off air. He was sitting in the back playing our video games in the green room, and
when you're talking, when you're hanging and talking with people that you enjoy doing the time blows by so quickly. First off. And secondly, the conversation just moves so smoothly that you can go from topic to topic and then hit such a variety of topics because you're comfortable in talking to people that way. And that's how you do it. So let me ask you, how do you balance it all? How do you balance? Well, obviously the road thing is taken care of itself because we can't be on the road. But how do you balance, doing your sauces and doing your radio show and doing, trying to get new clients because clients lists are drying up, sponsorship wise because of, businesses are going down, especially mom and pop stuff. How do you do it? And, you're also coming out with your book, or it's already out, Brimisms.
Brimisms.
Which was weird. I'm like, is he starting a religion? What's going on?
I should. No.
But it's probably insights that you've learned over your many facets of what you've done over the many years you've done it in the many different places you've done it best in, I'm assuming.
Well, I'll answer the first question, then I'll go to the second.
Sure.
What do you call it? The first one, how do I balance it? It is flipping hard. I do have an assistant, and great, absolutely fantastic. Thank God for her. And so that's one thing. Balancing it all, man, because it's not only that, then I also have, my family. I have 3 kids, one who is out of the house and living on her own. But, I have my son who's 19, my daughter who's 10, my wife, and I'm a family guy, I'm a family guy. So, I like to spend a lot of time with them too. So it's very difficult. I spread out everything I do throughout the days. I try to schedule myself as tightly as possible. Which is really funny because especially when you're talking to friends and you're like, can you want to do my show on such and such date, or can you give me an answer on this date, or can you have me on your show because I'm trying to promote a couple of things, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. It's like, oh man, no, I need to schedule it now, otherwise I'm not going to get it in. It's not going to happen. What do you call it? But I find the time. I make the time. If you want it to happen, you want to make it work, you find the time. I'm up really early. Thank you very much, David. What do you call it? I appreciate that. I wake up early in the morning, or I'm up late at night. I'm sitting. I sat on my phone on on Instagram. You know what I mean? Sitting and responding. I saw that there was a whole new page of people that had been writing to me that I had no idea about.
Oh my God, I hate when they do updates and there's a secret folder now of like messages and requests, or messages in waiting. Now I know some of the Twitch people are like, you're such an old dude. Like, because everybody on Twitch is always like jacked into the matrix. Like, they're up to every update. They know what's this, what's that, which I love. That's why it's taken me a while to get onto Twitch, but also to get things straightened out and stuff. And, Gem Girl makes a good point here. This lockdown has brought out a lot of creativity in people for podcasting and signing up to Twitch. It has been nice. That's what brought me out to finally do my podcast, which I was talking about doing for like 2-3 years. And I have like actual audio podcasts, like 13 episodes, which I'll eventually put out as like classic cuts. There was a time back in 2018 when we had this discussion with this old. Right. So I'll be bringing those back. But what is it? Go ahead. And that's the thing, that it can also be helpful about this being that everybody's home, because then you go like, hey, I would love to have you on my show. And like, well, I'm kind of busy. I'm like, we're home, man. You just put in a half an hour slot of sit at the desk just for another half an hour and we can work this out.
I know. It was crazy though. Like, I found that thing. It was like 200, messages that I just didn't have. So I sat and I was up till 3:00 in the morning the other night, just going through, responding to each and every one. Because if you're a fan, if you're part of my audience, I want to make sure that you know that I love you and I care, and I want that engagement. Write to me on. I'm very heavy on Instagram at The Real Brimstone. You follow me there and you talk to me right on the messages. I'm going to respond. You know what I mean? And it's me. It's not my assistant. It's not my wife. It's not anyone. It's me personally.
I hear you. Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. I don't have a staff. I don't have a PR firm that runs my social media. By the way, for those just joining us late, you are watching the one and only Brimstone here tonight, coming all the way from Strong Island, Long Island. What city?
Levittown. I grew up in
Levittown, Long Island. You grew up in Uniondale. Ooh, rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
That is rough. I know Uniondale well. Went to many a hockey game in Uniondale too.
What do you call it?
With the Rangers, though, going to play the rivalry of the Islanders. I'm repping Rangers all the way.
There you go. Also, anybody who's watching on Twitch, I actually did set up my Twitch channel, and I'm going to be streaming on there soon. So if you can hit me, Real Brimstone .twitch, was it twitch.tv
twitch.tv/
Real Brimstone. So if you
just Real
Brimstone, yeah.
There you go.
Sometimes when you don't get to something quick enough, somebody steals your shit. Pardon my French.
I hear you.
So
I'm going to give a couple of big shout outs. Sudesh, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining. Gem Girl as well on Twitch. Thank you. Anthony Frischetti, one of the best photographers, especially music. He's up in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area. He's a good friend. He's loving the show as well. Danger Girl AC, my girl Amy. Good to see you back as well. Thank you so much for the great compliments there. I gotta say, I really miss so much being on the road. Like we said earlier, and it's not, once again, not just because I want to make money, but because I want to see these places, I want to meet these people and hang out with good friends. What is it about the road that you love and are currently missing?
Everything. You. I'm missing you. I'm missing Schiaffo. I'm missing Marilyn. I'm missing, what do you call it? I'm missing my friends, man. What do you call it? And again, we get to do things like this, which is awesome. And we get to talk to each other. But it's not the same as going and breaking bread and everything. But another thing that I absolutely love.
You get to have yourself made into a 3D,
3D
model.
Yeah.
You got yourself made into a Lego man.
Little Lego me. Yeah, did you see the pop me?
I did. To be honest with you, I'm gonna give you. I didn't know where the blonde was coming from.
I am blonde. I'm just.
I get it. Yeah. But you know what I saw when I saw that pop?
What?
I saw Senior from Orange County Choppers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Paul Senior from Orange County. No, I know. I saw that sticker, but what's the one with the yellow? Didn't I actually see you with your own actual figure?
Oh, my other figure, yeah. He's up there. I can't, I have to pull him down. But what do you call it? Yeah, they that's more so the comic character one, just a little bit brighter of a yellow and
yeah, but it totally looked like Paul Senior from Orange County Choppers.
Yeah. What do you call it? Yes. Well, podcast on Facebook, Christopher. It's facebook.com/the Grindhouse Radio. What do you call it? And it's verified, so it's us. There's a lot of people that try to put fake stuff on there. Also, facebook.com/Brimstone is me. Again, it's also verified, so it's me. And I'm not as active on Facebook as I probably should be. I'm very active on Insta. And if you're trying to listen to the show, iHeartRadio is where we're primarily push our iHeart. But you can also go right to our website, thegrindhouseradio.com, or my site, therealbrimstone.com, and all the episodes are up there too. So it's very easy, very convenient, and we're on 30 different networks. You know what I'm saying? Earplug Podcast Network. I know them over there, right? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Guys over at Earplug, and just good people, man. And we just try to get involved with as many people as possible, and it's a lot of fun doing the show, and it's become a regular job, which is crazy. It's crazy, man. I have a job.
Yeah, it's funny, how putting out content, it really taxes you to come up, because I try to do unique, I try to do funny, especially I try to do things I'm interested in to make it, because if I come across that I'm not interested in listening to you, well, how am I even going to think about asking my audience to listen to what a guest has to say? So I always enjoy to reach out to people that I want to find out more about, but also people that I think you got to hear this guy's story, or you got to see this person's work, or you got to, things like that. And that's how I like to choose my guests and call up, and hopefully they say yes to bring them back on. And so, and Jem says it right. So many social media sites can never keep up with. Well, that's, I mean, the same thing goes with, video games and Netflix and Hulu. And I just found out now that Quibi has shut down after 6 months.
Really?
Which
already?
It's hilarious, because Quibi was the network made on 7-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And so their lifetime ending in just 6 months is kind of hilariously ironic. Sad that people who had jobs at Quibi, I'm not laughing at that. I'm just finding it funny that a network built on short attention span subjects is going out quickly. It just tickled me as a comedian.
It's, with that you're talking about, they had people like Kevin Hart and
I saw it and I'm like, where are they getting this advertising money or sign up money to pay these people for their productions? Because even if you're doing 7-minute episodes, that's at least $20,000 to just do 7 minutes with a full crew and full union and everything else.
Yep. And that, listen, it's more than $20,000 getting somebody like Kevin Hart.
I know that. I'm just saying in the general scheme of things.
Oh yeah.
And then you get people. I mean, I'm sure Kevin Hart was lured in with like, we're going to be the next Netflix. That's hard to say quickly. We're going to give you stock.
Yeah. And that's what they were doing.
What was that?
Remember when they were doing that with Wizard World?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then they tried bringing it back last year too. For $500 you can go to all their shows. You are now part of the investment team of Wizard World.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's craziness. I absolutely, you know what? There's just what's the question?
What's the comic about?
It's Brimstone and the Borderhounds, and basically, it has nothing to do with pro wrestling. Everybody's like, well, it's the Brimstone a wrestler in the comic? No, it's not like the bad WWE comics. What do you call it? It's actually the again, I was a gimmick. My character was a gimmick character, and I had a whole background and history for it. So Brimstone and his crew of Borderhounds are like Hell's version of the Border Patrol. They're not meant to keep people out. They're meant to keep people in. And it's a really long, explanation. But if you go to, the realbrimstone.com, there's a whole bunch of information about the comic book. You just go down to bio, and it's right there. A lot of really cool, fun stuff. And everything that I talk about, like the sauces, seasonings, that's all in the comic also. So, if you're a comic book fan and you're reading the book, you're gonna be like, oh, Grindhouse seasoning, Grindhouse
cross branding.
Yeah, everything's crossed. Remember, I told you earlier, I blend everything.
You're a regular Ted Turner.
Yeah, and then I have my candy, the Grub Munchies, and everything, and all that, and that's all real stuff. The Grub Munchies. I have my own candy line, which what do you call it? I have to actually get back into that because since I wasn't doing a lot of the cons, I kind of let
You're a little too late, sir. Halloween is next week.
Well, yeah,
you need your candy now.
You know what's funny? And the girl who owns the candy company that I deal with, her father's the guy who actually created Jelly Bellies. So what do you call it? Yeah. So I try to always deal with really good quality people and people with good stories. You know what I mean? That's why when I did the Food Hound Tidbit thing, it wasn't just the food. It was the tidbits because it was the stories behind the places that we were going. You know, finding yourself a really kick-ass speakeasy. You know what I mean? That's haunted. You know what I mean? Or this or that. There's a whole
my go-to guy to find out what speakeasies are up and on and what's going on is Mr. Ming Chen.
Oh, Ming knows everything.
Ming is
always eating.
Oh my God. But he's secretly, he does 5 things a day. He's recording hot yoga on the beach. Then he's off to this donut factory where they're selling coffee. Then he's on to a beer tasting. Then he's at some other kind of film festival secret screening of. Next thing you know, we're going to this laundromat where you go to the back and you have to crawl through the last dryer to get into the secret bar. The dude,
I can see that.
No, I mean, I'm making it up, but I'm seriously. He's the guy. He's like who was the kid from Temple of Doom?
Dr. Jones.
Yeah. He's like, Brian, you come with me. I'll tell you where it is. Now, don't give me the whole, hey, stop making racist. I'm not making racist kind of. I didn't do it. I'm just saying he is like the guy that just finds things without you knowing.
Love him to death.
Absolutely.
The Mike are great. What do you call it? And I'm listen. I'm very close with a lot of the people in the View Scoot family, and just good people, just good freaking people. And
there you go. Short round.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. You got it.
You win nothing, but you win.
Temple of Doom is not PC. Of course, it's not PC for Eastern Asians. Yes, absolutely not PC. But it was a movie nonetheless, made by an Oscar award-winning director.
It's true.
Such a good in a time that we were not sensitive at all. I mean, the things that are said in the first Clerks are really not sensitive today. So, I live by my own example in that sense. Yeah. So, we briefly mentioned it, but hit us up with some of your Brimisms.
My Brimisms. So, all right. So, Brimisms is a new book that I put out. It's just a fun little coffee table book of a small book of inspirational, motivational quotes. And, the coolest thing about the book is not even the fact that I wrote it. It's that my buddy Charles Martinet, you guys know him as Mario and Luigi from Nintendo. He wrote the foreword for the book. And it is just, it actually brought a tear to my eye when he sent it to me. And he's an absolute darling. I love him to death. But just a bunch of different things to help people get through the day. There's so many people that have always said to me, they I'll post a quote and post a quote and post a quote. And they'll go, hey, that helped me get through the day, or I really needed to hear that. So, I put a bunch of the collection of quotes that I've come up with, and what do you call it? And I put them in the book. I mean, one of them is just, the key to success is to go out and work hard for it. Blood, sweat, and tears, sacrifice, determination, effort, or just be a wizard, and that totally works too. You know what I mean? Just silly, fun things that, you know, if you need a pick-me-up, you grab it and take a look at it. It's not just about passion and creativity. It's about leaving your mark on the world, your legacy, you know, stuff like that. And just, you know, you gotta kind of, you know, help motivate people, because it's a really rough time right now with everything going on. And, you know, and I launched it a couple weeks ago, and I've already sold a lot of copies, knock on wood, which is so I'm grateful for that. But it's probably because Charles wrote in it, not me. But it's a fun book. It's a fun book. And hey, even if you don't want to read the book afterwards, if Halloween's coming, look, you can make it into a mask. You can be little me, you know, or ears. You do that. You know.
Perfect.
So.
You know, that's incredibly intimidating, especially if you want to ride on the New York City subway. Just put that up to your face. No one's going to come near you asking for change if you're reading that book. They'll be like, "Ooh, don't mess with it." So this is the part of the night that I like to call the speed round. Are you ready for some speed round questions?
Ooh, speed round. Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm going to hit us with some music. Now, it's pretty simple. It's just A or B choices. Okay. So this or that, whatever comes first to your head, we're going to do it. So let me try some music here. All right. You got it? You good? All right. By the way, music, this is by Scott Schiaffo. You can hear me all right?
I hear you.
All right, here we go.
Jam it out.
Acting or singing?
Acting.
Barbecue or buffalo?
Barbecue.
Long flight or long drive?
Long drive.
Angry or happy?
Happy.
Mask or no mask?
Mask 100%.
Highway or side streets?
Side streets.
Yeah, you're a Long Island guy. Of course you're going to say side streets. Yeah. Long Island or Long Island?
Long Island.
Booth or table?
Booth.
Guest or host?
Ooh. Either. Host.
Metal or hip-hop?
Oh, that's tough. Hip-hop.
Home or on the road?
Home.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel all the way.
Mets or Yankees?
Yankees.
Wow, Long Island guy.
Sorry.
Love or money?
Love.
Hero or heel?
Heel.
Sushi or barbecue?
Barbecue.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Top rope or steel chair?
Steel chair all the way, baby.
Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Biggest pet peeve?
Can't say it on here.
Sure you can.
Trump.
There you go, folks. That is the speed round. Big thanks to Mr. Scott Schiaffo, who will be my guest next week, for providing the music. I gotta say, man, I really, really had a blast. It was a blast when we did this together, singing a Long Island Boys song. Nothing but Piano Man up in Vermont was a lot of fun. Folks, if you didn't catch any of it last time, these are his socials at the moment. TheRealBrimstone.com, Instagram, The Real Brimstone. Check out the radio at thegrindhouseradio.com. He just let us know here he has set up his Twitch account, which will be Real Brimstone. So twitch.tv/Real Brimstone. You'll be seeing him on here as well. So thank you, brother, so much. I don't want to dominate your Friday night, but But thank you for being on here. I look forward for when you're on Twitch as well. It's a great community. I want to thank everybody who was listening in and watching as well. From Gem Girl, Randall Graves, Christopher Hewitt, who hasn't missed a show, I don't believe. Yeah, you've missed a show yet, so thank you for doing it. What does it say, Brian? Your podcast helps me during this time. No, thank you, Christopher. You guys are helping me get through this time because otherwise I'd be going out of my mind right now. Uriel, good to see you as well. Captain Mike Sparrow, always good. Anthony Frischetti, I'll be talking to you soon. We're talking about a photo shoot. Oh, Mr. David Madison, thank you for checking in. People, if they want to go over to the Indie Brigade, the George Romero Indie Brigade, Dave Madison has his show tonight at 11 o'clock on Facebook and on Twitch and on YouTube. Check out Romero's Indie Brigade for end of the night with David Madison. Also, Super Bones. Good to see you, Super Bones. Thank you again. Brother, I can't wait to be in your physical presence.
Yes.
I can't wait for us to have a good laugh, maybe belt out a song or two, and hopefully to make the trifecta there, if Martinette's with us, finding some hidden gem of a food place and getting our grub on.
We're doing it. I'm gonna no, we're doing it. He'll be on it like right on rice.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, Mr. Brimstone.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you.
We appreciate you even more. Wow, that was, I got to tell you, I enjoy hanging out with him because we can talk on so many different levels of so many different subjects. And that's the greatest thing about hanging out with Brim. He's true to the core. He doesn't put on airs. He is who he is. You see him at a show, you know, he puts all of it into it. You see him buy one of his hot sauces, you're going to taste high quality. He really is a great guy from Strong Island, New York. Can't wait to get back out on the road. I'm not going to lie. Can't wait. As of right now, the next physical actually attended convention I have on my calendar is like April of next year. So hopefully we can get things straightened out. We shall see. Next week, incredible close friend of mine will be on the show, Mr. Scott Afo. That's right. Chuli's Gum Guy will be joining us. He's got the release of his new audio book version of his best-selling book, Vicious Dogs Attack Me in Sleepless Nights of Summer. It's him reading excerpts of various ramblings, poetries, and streams of semi-consciousness. We will have Scott on here next Friday at the time, 9 o'clock. Co-starred with me in Clerks, co-starred with me in Vulgar. We've been on the road numerous times on numerous adventures. We'll be bringing up quite a few hilarious stories as well. Mr. Scott Schiaffo, next week, you're not going to want to miss it. Once again, I want to thank my guest tonight, Brimstone. Check out his websites as well. TheRealBrimstone.com, The Real Brimstone on Instagram, and the GrindhouseRadio.com. And just announced tonight on Twitch, Real Brimstone on Twitch. Man. Now I'm in the mood for something like with hot sauce. Talking about hot sauce all that time. So listen, folks, we're rounding the corner on the election here. The president says we're rounding the corner on the virus. I think he's confusing. It's rounding the corner of the election. So if you haven't already, please get out there. Get to voting if you're in a state that allows early voting in person. Do it. If you haven't received your mail-in ballot, find out what the deadline is to request your mail-in ballot and do it. Otherwise, go and on election day, go out there and get in there and put out your vote, put your voice. It needs to be heard. It's a big election this year. I don't care who you're voting for. I'm not putting anybody's names in the front row here. I'm just saying, do it. It's important to our country. For those across the world watching and listening, we feel your pain as well. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Wear the mask. Socially distant when you can. I know it's going to be tough coming now that we're indoors all the time. We're coming up to Halloween, trick-or-treating, and also eventually then Thanksgiving. But please, we got to do it. We got to do it, man. We got to get out of this. I want to be back on the road. I want to see you people. I want to be able to hug you people. I want to be able to have laughs, have dinner with you people. I want to be able to just be out on the world like I normally was doing before all this happened. So I may continue a little bit later on Twitch. I'm going to take a break after that. Let me see if I can do this while I'm on here. If I can raid. I'm going to see. What are we going to raid here? I'm going to raid. Yes, Gem Girl. I want to hug too. I'm going to raid Mr. Captain Mike Sparrow. Let me see how I do this again. I think it's raid / And I'm old school on this one. So it's just type in the word raid / in the person, right? Am I right there, Twitchies? They don't call you Twitchies. Why did I just say that? Twitch fans? Well, let's see if this works. Nope, I put the slash in the wrong thing. See? I'm a noob. Totally noobed. There we go. Raid. Not let me do it. I don't know why. See, this is the old guy. This is like the total. Can't do the raid. I don't know why, but my apologies. All right, folks, I've rated. Follow along. And thank you again for being OHalloRANT. Maybe. OHalloRANT. All right. You guys decide what you want to be called. But thank you again, everybody, for letting me be a part of your Friday evening. I'll be back on Twitch in a little bit. Give me about a half an hour or so. And let's call it 11 o'clock. I'll be back 11 o'clock Eastern on Twitch. Maybe I'll play some Among Us or something like that. Big shout out to everybody on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. Please, if you can, subscribe. Please follow along. Please do all those fun things. It helps me out to build an audience. Pass it along to other people because it'll be a lot more fun as we move along here. Thank you again, guys. We will see you in just over half an hour on Twitch. As for the O'HalloRANT show, next Friday, 9 o'clock, once again, we'll have the one and only Mr. Scott Schiaffo. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you want to follow me along, these are the sites to follow and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. There's the Twitter account and the Instagram. Post your comments, post your likes, share it with a friend, tell it to your grandmother, pass it on to your pastor. I don't care. As long as they want to watch, we'll have a fun time. For everybody, for the lovely Brimstone, and to everybody out there, thank you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, and for God's sakes, wear the mask. We'll see you next time on the O'HalloRANT. Peace.